If you want to drive a Westerner absolutely crazy, just show them how Chinese people think about world politics. In the West, we love clear lines. Good guy versus bad guy. Democrat versus Republican. With us or against us. It's like a Hollywood movie, right? But China drives Western politicians nuts because they seem to play both sides of every single coin. They'll shake hands with Russia, but buy grain from Ukraine. They'll sign massive trade deals with Saudi Arabia, and the next day host the leaders of Iran. To Washington, this looks hypocritical, shady, and completely illogical. But to the Chinese, this isn't a lack of principles. It's actually a 2,500-year-old philosophical superpower called Zhongyong, or the middle way. Today, we are going to look at the crazy way China views reality, why they don't believe in good versus evil, and how this ancient mindset is helping them navigate a world that is currently burning. To understand Zhongyong, you have to forget everything you know about logic. In Western logic, if A is true, then B must be false. But in ancient China, the masters looked at the world and said, hey, everything contains its own opposite. Think about the famous yin and yang symbol, the black and white swirls. It's not a picture of a fight, it's a picture of a dance. There is a little bit of white in the black and a little bit of black in the white. They need each other to exist. There's a famous old Chinese story about an old farmer called Sai Weng. One day, his only horse ran away. His neighbors came over to comfort him, saying, "Oh, what terrible luck." The old man just shrugged and said, "Maybe." The next day, the horse came back, bringing a whole herd of wild horses with it. The neighbors cheered, "Wow, what amazing luck." The old man said, "Maybe." Then, his son tried to ride one of the wild horses, fell off, and broke his leg. The neighbors cried, "Oh, what a tragedy." The old man said, "Maybe." A week later, the army came to draft all the young men for a brutal war. Because the son had a broken leg, he was spared. This story is encoded into the DNA of every Chinese strategist. They don't see events as just good or bad. They know that today's victory is tomorrow's trap, and today's crisis is tomorrow's jackpot. Zhongyong means finding the dead center of that spinning wheel so you never get thrown off. Now let's look at how this plays out in the real world right now, and why it leaves Western analysts scratching their heads. When the Ukraine war broke out, the West expected everyone to pick a side. You are either with NATO or with Moscow. But China walked right down the middle. They refused to condemn Russia, but they also refused to give Russia weapons. They bought Russian oil, but they kept trading with Europe. To the West, this looked like a contradiction, but under Zhongyong, it's perfectly logical. China's goal wasn't to see one side crush the other. Their goal was to keep their own balance and make sure they didn't get dragged into the fire. Look at the Middle East. For decades, the US strategy was protect our allies, destroy our enemies. But a few years ago, Beijing did something that shocked the diplomatic world. They sat the leaders of Saudi Arabia and Iran, two countries that have hated each other for generations, in a room together in Beijing, and got them to shake hands and restore diplomatic ties. The West was stunned. How do you deal with two enemies at the same time? Easy. By practicing Zhongyong. China doesn't care about playing the moral police. They look at the Middle East and think, we need oil from Saudi Arabia, and we need trade routes through Iran. Instead of picking one and fighting the other, let's force them into a balance that keeps the oil flowing. The reason the West is struggling against this strategy right now is because Washington is running out of steam, trying to maintain its US versus them worldview. When Trump or Biden tells the rest of the world, you have to cut ties with China, a lot of countries in Asia, Africa and Latin America are quietly saying, actually, we'd rather play the middle way too. They want American security, but they want Chinese money. By forcing the world to be non-black and white, the West is realizing that most of the world actually prefers the gray zone. China isn't trying to convert the world to communism. They don't care if you are a democracy, a monarchy, or a dictatorship. As long as the trade lines are open and the balance is maintained, they are happy. It's the ultimate flexible strategy. So, the next time you see China making a move on the global stage that makes absolutely no sense to Western news anchors, don't assume they are confused. They are just looking at the world through the lens of Zhongyong. While the West is busy trying to win the argument of who is right and who is wrong, China is busy staying in the middle, waiting for the storm to pass. Because in a world full of extremes, sometimes the guy standing dead in the center is the one who survives. What do you think? Is the Western black and white view of the world outdated? Or is China's middle way just an excuse to avoid taking a stand? Let me know in the comments, smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.